All right, here we go. It's another hour, the 8 o'clock hour underway with your Pratt Pack. And joining me on the Metropolitan Window video screen right now, and you can see this interview stream live by going to kdkradio.com and clicking on KDK Watch, is my good friend, Joe Rockey. So when it comes to government and finance, he's my go-to guy. So, Joe, it's great to have you back on KDK. Lots of stuff to get to. So let's start with the real reason you're here. Doge, government spending, what's going on in the nation's capital. But as I said earlier today in a video that I streamed from my home studio, it's not just in Washington, it's happening everywhere. Where anybody's watching or listening to us tonight, more times than not, government is overspending. So how do we get the balance that is needed to let government move forward, but also private business? Good evening.
So, Rob, thanks for having me. Let me start by saying I'm very happy that the ATI that you mentioned earlier in your 6 o'clock hour, the contract is moving forward, and we're going to have 6 more years of quality jobs in Western Pennsylvania, in your backyard in Monaca. So spectacular.
Thank you.
Relative to what's going on, if the government does spend too much, right, at all levels, but it more importantly, it doesn't spend wisely. What we need to do is take care of people who have, the greatest need, but at the same time, do the things that are necessary to make sure that our economy is moving forward, making investments. You see it in Ohio. Ohio made, job-ready sites where, companies could come in and begin to open their business right there, ready to go. And, that's good investment of government. So we have to do the right things. We have to spend money the right way, but we shouldn't waste it. I'm not going to say everything that the Doge is doing is right. I'm not going to say it's all intelligent. It seems pretty foolish in some ways. But at the end of the day, we got to spend money a better way.
All right. So I've often said Allegheny County is the heartbeat. In my opinion, still is the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. What do you see that, there's just too much money being put out and the results aren't there for the voting people of Allegheny County, a place that you're very familiar with?
Well, let me start with just the other day, there was an article about homelessness in Allegheny County and how it's actually increased in the last couple years, which is terrible, right? We're hiding it by putting people in, schools like on the north side, McKnocker has 75 or 85 people in it. And then we don't count them as homeless. They are homeless. They're living in a middle school. That's not really the future of our county. So we've got to figure out how to spend our money in a way that creates the right opportunities. And Rob, you and I've had this conversation before. It's all about jobs. If you get jobs, if you create employment, you create wealth, if you create tax base, then you have more money to spend on the things that are necessary to improve for everyone in our community.
I've often said you have to have faith to get through some things that really seem impossible. And I'm very much plugged into my Catholic faith, could always do a better job. And I know you are, especially for the years with Catholic Charities. And this is Holy Week, one of my favorite weeks, Monday, Thursday around the bend, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, Easter Sunday, Passover underway. So very spiritually oriented this time of year. But here's what worries me, whether it's synagogues or it's parishes or churches, because we're losing our tax base, jobs are disappearing. We are losing a lot of these places of worship. And I think once you start removing that from the parameters of everyday life, it only exacerbates problems and makes it even more difficult for people to have something to cling on to. So this is not just a battle for everyday life. It's about keeping faith by keeping these places up and running because people have good jobs and they're able to contribute to these places of faith. This is a very scary pattern that I have seen. Our own beloved bishop has done a great job with these consolidations, but I'm sure he would have wished to never have had to done it. But we are facing reality here with these jobs disappearing, these companies disappearing. We're also losing places of worship, and that's not good.
Yeah, so Rob, yes, I am a man of faith, and it doesn't matter whether you're Catholic, Jewish, Muslim, it doesn't matter what your religion is. When you have faith, you have hope, and hope and faith go together. We pray because we look to tomorrow, and too much in the United States today and in our own region, we don't look to tomorrow, we fight about yesterday. We need to start focusing on improving everyone's life for tomorrow. And that honestly does start with God. Whatever you want to call God, I'll call him whatever you want. It is about God, and it is about having a faith that sees a future that is bigger than today.
This is why I like your thought process. I was thinking to myself as we were getting ready to do this interview, should I mention ATI to Joe Rockey? But then I thought, I know Joe Rockey. This is what he talked about when he ran for the Allegheny County Chief Executive's office. Bottom line, that would be the first thing on his mind. That is a very important story, and that's something that you would have liked to have been a part of as Allegheny County Chief Exec. Who knows? Maybe in the future there or somewhere else. But when you think about it, we need to do more of that. That's why this Nippon U.S. Steel deal needs to get done. If we can start doing stuff like we read earlier tonight in the Trib, I did, and then Paul reported on it, that ATI has reached a 6-year agreement, details forthcoming with the USW. That's how you grow. That's how you fix not just potholes in the streets, roads and bridges, education, healthcare. All of it gets better when you have good paying jobs. Right, Joe?
I totally agree. I started this conversation by congratulating you on the message that you put out at 6:45 about ATI. And I do think the Nippon deal is very important for our region. It's about bringing capital into the region. It's about investing in tomorrow. And, we can debate how we got where we are with, President Biden saying it wasn't a deal he wanted to do, President Trump agreeing with him, and now us having a new look at it. I said, Rob, on your show back in November, I thought what would happen is President Trump would come in, he'd find a way to give it a second look. And that's exactly what he's doing. And I think it will get approved, and we will get, by last comment, $1.5 billion worth of investment into Western Pennsylvania. That is good for everybody in Western Pennsylvania.
Listen, because you are one of the more prominent faces of the Republican Party in this county that I love and work at, and I'm so honored to come here every day and be able to make a living. Your thoughts about that recent arson fire at the governor's mansion? Just so sad, right?
Yeah, it's just there's foolish people. You could use the word stupid people, bad people, all over the world. We need to protect our politicians. We need to protect our leaders. We need to protect everybody, right? It's about, making sure we have the right resources to have the protection. So I'm not exactly sure, and there will be a lot of stories written as to how this happened, how he got in. But I think we should applaud the fact that the state troopers were the ones who went in and woke the governor, woke his family, got his family and friends who were in the mansion out, and that no one got harmed. I have no comment about the individual who did it, except for there's just bad people everywhere.
All right, I got to ask you this because this is what I do, and it's not going to be difficult to answer. You may not even want to answer it, but you really are the future as far as the Republican Party. I'm a Democrat. I have a lot of faith in you. I believe in your values, your work ethic, and your eye on the prize as far as developing and going out and selling Allegheny County, because as Allegheny County goes, Beaver, Washington, Lawrence, we all benefit, the city of Pittsburgh. Will you ever run for office again? Do you at least think about it?
I do, and it's highly likely I will. If there's a path to victory, then I will get engaged and do it again.
That's all.
We were pretty close last time. We missed by just a hair, and I do think my mission is to do the right thing for the people in Allegheny County, the future of Allegheny County, and that's what I would join back in to do again if there was a path to win.
That's all I wanted to hear. Thank you for your honesty, your integrity, and let's do it again real soon. I'm always grateful for your time, Joe Rockey.
Thanks, Rob. Talk to you soon.
All right, stay with us. We go to the phones next with your Pratt Pack on KDKA.